Hey, Richard. What's going on with you, man?
Yeah, not much. I went for a longer hike last weekend, just around like the downtown area, waterfront, kind of like under Golden Gate Bridge, near this like coastline, through like a park. Ate some Thai food. I think I did that last Saturday, so that was
Sounds
good.
like a great time.
Yeah, it was nice. It was like maybe like 3.5 hours or something of walking, and pretty peaceful.
Sweet. What did I get up
How
to
was
last
your?
weekend?
Yeah.
I
Oh,
don't even
so
know.
hard to remember. Yeah, for me, I can never remember what I did the previous weekend.
Oh, that's what I did. Okay, so I visited my buddy Andrew in Smith Falls on Saturday, and we watched The Bad Batch on Disney. And we talked about our businesses. He's running a Lego business, and I'm trying to sell video game currency. And it's all about the initial time. Like, we got to put a lot of time into each of the businesses before we can get back any sort of, you know, money. Like, to you got to build. So for him, he has to get the Lego, sort the Lego, and put it, categorize it, and put it on a database, price it, and all the other stuff. And that takes a lot of time, like months and months and months. And he's getting orders coming in like $20 here, $50 there, and he goes and delivers it. So it's not paying the bills, but eventually, once he gets, was it 100,000 pieces? I think it was 100,000 pieces. Once he gets an inventory of 100,000 pieces, then he can have a steady income. And that's a lot of time to get to that point. And for me, getting the video game currency and or selling that and selling the armor and the weapons, there's an initial time investment to do that, which is like over 100 hours of work. But then you have to build your clientele. You got to put it out there, talk to the communities, or put your advertisings out in the communities and talk to people and show people that you're credible. And so there's a huge time investment in both businesses. So we chatted about that, watched The Bad Batch, and on Sunday, we met up with a mutual friend and we made maple syrup.
That's
We
cool.
basically, we reduced down a bunch of sap all day, and it's like 100 liters to start.
Yeah,
And
I forgot that the sap is not exactly what comes out of the tree. And I don't know if I ever knew that or not. I thought like actually that the maple syrup just came out of the tree, but there's actually a process. You got to distill it or something.
yeah, you gotta reduce it down. So he has like this sort of stove contraption that he built, and we stoke a fire all day long, and we have the sap in different pans, and the water evaporates, and what's left is the sugary syrup.
Then you now we can draw parallels between like building a business up and like making maple syrup. Like that, it's like you gotta have patience, gotta stoke the fire, and then but like at the end of the day, you get like a sweet sugary customer base like that's that you can enjoy.
Yeah,
So what's the Bad Batch? I don't know if I ever heard that before. Is that a new movie?
it's like the Clone Wars, but there's like this
Oh, right.
defective squad that they each have their own niche.
It's like animated or something.
What is it? CGI?
Yeah, some kind of like
Anime?
non live action. Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like I've seen a screenshot of it. I don't know, like the poster or something.
Yeah, it's good. It's definitely a good show.
Yeah, I was watching The Mandalorian season 3, but it's not as good as season 1 and 2. I remember like season 1 was like really, really awesome, like really great writing. I found in season 1, I was really impressed with it. I don't remember as much from season 2, and then season 3 is just kind of like standard television, the plot lines are very like similar to other shows. Just kind of like not the characters are like already built. There's not much like ongoing character building. It's just like it's like a whole season of just like like content of the characters doing all this stuff, like shooting spaceships down, shooting guns. Like I don't know, you could sort of just eliminate the whole season 3 and just go probably straight to season 4, and people wouldn't realize.
Or you say Mandalorian?
Mandalorian, yeah.
There's not 4 seasons out for Mandalorian.
Yeah, there's no 4th season yet, but the 3rd season is like halfway. It's like on episode 5 right now.
Yeah, it's good shit. Oh, I love it, man. Like I love how everything's coming together.
Yeah, I think what I've been finding is, like in season 3 Mandalorian, there was that initial conflict in like Navarro, I guess, which is the name of my cat actually, and also the name of the planet in in Star Wars, but by coincidence, actually, yeah, because it was like the pet adoption thing that named the cat. So I guess someone named a bunch of cats after Star Wars planets. But on Navarro, there was like pirates like that were sort of angry in the street, and like that was a moment where I was sort of like, what's going to happen here? You know, there's a tension, there's pirates, there's going to be some kind of creative solution, but then they just like shot them, and then one pirate like ran away, and I was like, oh, they're just going to shoot them, and then they walk away like it wasn't even a big deal. And then later in space, it's like, oh, the pirates are coming back for them now. This is karma. Like they shot the pirates. Now there's going to be a space battle. What's going to happen here? And they're like, oh, he shot the pirate planes down, and that was it. And then it was like, okay, I guess that was kind of like a standard space battle, not very high stakes. And then he like rounds the corner, and it's the giant pirate ship, and the pirate captain is there, and he's like, you're not gonna get out of this one, like Mandalorian. And then he's just like, he just pushes a button and warps into space, and it's like, did he just get it? He just got away. I guess he just got away. Like that was easy. Like I guess he could just do that all the time then. And then like late in another episode, when they come back from like planet Mandalore, those TIE fighters attack. It's like, what are they gonna do this time? And they just like shoot the TIE fighters, and it's like, okay. And then like more TIE fighters arrive, and it's like, oh, they got the easy ones, but now there's gonna be some real creativity in this next like larger TIE fighter battle. They're gonna have to outsmart these guys, and they're just like push a button and go into space again. It's like, oh right, they can just exit whenever they want, and there's nothing at stake here. Like they just can defeat like 5 low-level enemies to make some content for the show, and then when the big battle happens, they just teleport into space.
Peace.
I found like that formula kind of keeps repeating in a lot of the episodes. I don't know, like I was expecting like, because from season 1, like if you remember back to that like prison break episode where they're on like those 5 convicts like break into the prison like transport shuttle, and then he like turns off the lights and like gets them all isolated and like takes them out all in like creative ways, like using like all these different gadgets. I was thinking like that's one guy fighting 5 guys. Like he's using his environment. It's like it's character building, like where he doesn't even kill them. Like they live on, but they're trapped in a cell together. And I was like, that's like a perfect episode. Like the whole episode was just this amazing like creative like problem solving. But now
you okay over there, buddy? That's it. You're joking.
Yeah, but now in season 3, it's doesn't seem to be going as deep. So
you know,
a lot of people
that's fair.
Yeah, many people are saying, like one of my other friends says he likes it, and you said you liked it, so a lot of people are saying they like it. I'm not seeing anything bad about it, but it just feels too light. I want it to be like more yeah.
It is light. You're totally right. Now that I'm thinking about the earlier season there, yeah. That was legendary. But now that they have, you know, that season, and they have the character development, and you know, they have the momentum, they can kind of lighten up a little bit, because people are just like, yes, fucking Mandalorian, and you got the little theme song going, and the little flute thing that they play, and I mean that's all that people need. That's all people need to see and hear, and they're happy. Yeah, at least for me.
Yeah, I think there's like it's like there's like borderline enough content out there that I feel like now I can always find like the best show, you know, and so it's almost like I have some video games that I'm playing and stuff. So if I start watching a show and it's not like living up, then I feel like, oh, I'll just, you know, why are they telling me, you know, that I should watch this? Like I should just go play I should watch a show that's more interesting, or like play a game that I like or something. So I
Hmm.
find like I don't want to like invest the time if they're not gonna like meet the standard that they set for themselves or something. But I guess for these shows, I guess I'll just like wait till it's all out and then go back and like watch it more quickly or watch it all at once. Do you remember? Did you ever see that show that was called Mr. Robot? That one?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, the seasons of that show followed like a pattern that I feel like it kind of made it apparent to me like what shows do, where like season 1 will be like get you bought into the system, season 2 like delivers more of the good stuff, and then season 3 is just like they're just like giving you stuff like filler, and mostly it's just like everyone's like watching it because they're still hyped up from like season 2, and then before they realize that like season 3 isn't really doing anything, they like tease like, oh, this bad guy's gonna come back for like season 4, so better stay tuned for season 4. And then you're like, okay, I guess season 4 is where it picks up again. And then like they kind of do like season 4 will open with like, here's a totally different character that we never showed you before, and we're gonna introduce that guy. And then like by the end of season 4, you still haven't gotten back around to like the cliffhanger from the end of season 3, and but then there'll be another cliffhanger like on the end of season 4, and so they'll just keep like introducing another plot line and not resolving it, and then you're just like on the hook for all these things, and then eventually the show like goes away, and they just like wrap everything up really quick or something in a final season, like because my prediction, like I don't know what these next 5 episodes or so will be for like season 3 Mandalorian, but I suspect that like every episode is gonna subtly hint on the reappearance of like Mos Eisley, and we're gonna keep thinking like, okay, he's gonna show up like next episode, and then they'll finally have him show up at the end of the last episode of season 3, and then basically when we look back, we'll sort of be like, was the whole season 3 just like teasing the reappearance of Mos Eisley, and then we just show up for season 4 like being like, okay, let's see him, and then they may or may not deliver in season 3 like on that promise. And so I don't know, I feel like I want to like resist falling into the trap. Whenever I sense like a pattern or a trap, I'm like, they're not gonna get me, like I'm gonna like get, you know, like opt out and come back when I can just binge everything really fast and then move on.
Yeah, they get me. They hook me in every time.
Yeah, it's only when there like just happens to be like nothing else to watch that that I'll go to it. But I always try to like I just have a thing where if I start watching a show and it's not like going fast enough, I just immediately start thinking like what else could I be doing right now? And then I kind of pulls me out of the show, and I start thinking like you know, like how else should I use this time? And once I start thinking about whether or not I find something more exciting to do, I just get pulled out of the universe of the show, and it's like less exciting. Because even that episode where they rescued the kid from the giant bird, they just ended up like shooting the bird essentially. It's like they went on this like elaborate heist where they're like, okay, we can't shoot a gun for like this entire 3/4 of this episode because the bird will hear us. And then as soon as they get like to the bird, they're like, okay, shoot it, like everybody shoot now, like just keep shooting. And for like 2-minute sequence, it's just like constant shooting, and then okay, they shot the bird enough times, now the bird is dead. Like it was like, really, they didn't like make some elaborate trap or like deke it out with the spaceship or like call in some favor from like some other like thing, or like trick it or make friends with it or something. I guess the only like the only Mandalorian style thing that happened was they took like the baby birds and they're gonna like raise them. I don't know.
That
Hopefully they'll
yeah,
like
that was
that'd be
cool.
cool. But I feel like they should have like rode those baby birds. Like I guess the baby birds wouldn't be like old enough, but it would be cool if they like took the baby birds and they like rode them to Navarro or like something like that. Like they wove it in
Oh,
immediately.
they will.
Yeah, like hopefully eventually they'll pay off that thing, but it was just feels like there could be more density of like they could they could have had some engagement with that bird. Maybe they could have like helped like maybe that bird had like a stick like in its wing and they realize that they help it becomes friends with them and then it comes out and like at the last minute it like attacks the pirate ship, and turns the tide and it would
Not
have
like they
felt
can
like
breathe. If they can't breathe in
yeah.
space, come on.
The bird has its own spaceship. I was actually thinking that that droid that he tried to repair, like there was that part where he like tried to rebuild the droid that blew itself up in the end of the last season. And I was thinking like first I was really weirded out by that because I was like, well, it's self-destructed. Like how could you rebuild something that's self-destructed? That the whole point of self-destructing is that you can't be captured and the contents can't be taken. But like it seemed like they thought they could just rebuild it and that like the vital information that droid had in it was just like inside of a statue in the middle of the plaza. But then,
Yeah,
but
not
then
a
like
fan of what
yeah,
happened with that. I don't like how he kind of just gave
yeah.
up.
I was thinking it'd be cool if if it attacked them and they pushed it out a window and then lost track of it and then later it actually crawled to like Mandalorian's ship and then when they were fighting the pirates in space, if the droid still in its evil mindset could have like climbed around the ship and then threatened like Baby Yoda and then Baby Yoda would like use the force to like turn it to good temporarily and then it would like jump off the ship and fight the pirate aircraft like in like a suicide takedown style. And I thought that would be like that would use the baby's force power. It would like weave in the droid a little bit more. It would raise some like tension. It would make like a slightly creative solution to like the pirate battle, and it would show like the Mandalorian's effort to rebuild that guy, like and risking like it didn't work out originally, but then it paid off when like it saved him possibly from like one of the pirate ships attacking or something. And I thought like I was just brainstorming different ways to like add more density and creativity to the conflicts without like really changing the show that much. But I guess I thought actually maybe they don't have like they like cut the budget as well, so maybe they can't afford to do like multiple scenes with like stuff happening. They can only afford to do like gun effects and like ship battle effects and not many like otherwise they're just like in a cave like living in a
They
cave.
cut the budget. Why would they
That's
cut
what
the
I would
budget?
suspect. I don't know, it just seems like it seems like they instead of like instead of having like him ever going into the because you'd kind of think that he would like do something inside of the main pirate's ship or something like I feel like they originally maybe they wrote it like and then the main pirate like he comes around the planet, he sees the large pirate ship and then they tractor beam him inside and he has to like fight his way out smartly or something using like some thing that he got from before or whatever like but the fact that they just like skipped over it, we went into hyperspace, it felt like they had like cut like a whole scene there or something.
That's what they can do. I kind of like how simple it is. They don't need elaborate traps. They don't need to do all this bullshit or, gain all this strength. I mean, he kind of, his armor he already built up, and the weapons that he has, like he's already acquired, right? So he's already overpowered. He doesn't need to fuck around and do all that creative stuff. If you can just like flee from a battle, I mean, that's a perfect tactic. Why take on a warship with a fucking speedster when you can just use your speed and get out? I think it makes sense. It's not overthinking. It's simple. It's simple. I love the simplicity of it.
Yeah,
But
I remember
you wish that there was more substance.
Yeah, just more constraints and like more tension and sort of more of us seeing like, that's why the Mandalorian is the Mandalorian, like because if he's in a street battle with pirates, he like solves it in a way that really shows off his depth of skill when it's like, well, I mean, if you just replace the Mandalorian with another guy with a gun that can shoot a gun fast, it's sort of like it feels like less is. I like to feel like there's something special about like the way the Mandalorian is like trained or the way he like knows stuff. And one way they did show that off was like he was teaching like Baby Yoda how to navigate the ship, and then later that paid off by like Baby Yoda could navigate the ship like back to get help when he was trapped by that like spider or whatever. And I felt that was good because it was like, yeah, passing on the knowledge when you have the time ends up paying off because that little Baby Yoda is like starting to like take on a little mini quests and help out and like save him actually otherwise where he wouldn't have been good.
What's interesting is that he's 50 years old. They call him a baby, but he has more life experience than either of us.
Yeah, because like, they show that he was around. What was the flashback they showed? Was that like Clone War era or something?
When the temple was getting all messed up, that was when Anakin was going all haywire.
So then, I guess we know, is that the first reveal of like Baby Yoda's age, showing that if he was alive back then? Because what was
I think they actually said his age.
Oh, how did they
and
know
that the species ages slower. I don't know. I think it was because he's been around for that long, and they've been taking care of him.
Oh.
Yeah, and then the temple was attacked at the end of the Clone Wars because Anakin was a general during the Clone Wars, and on the side of good. But yeah, man, Star Wars is good shit.
Yeah, it's nice so far. Like Disney's doing a good job making different properties, doing side stories. It's a lot of content.
So, I've been thinking. I talk about releasing from the military and all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
Did I tell you about the book I'm reading, The 4-Hour Work Week?
Yeah.
Yeah. I keep thinking about that. I haven't finished the book. I mean, I barely did a dent in it. But I mean, just the initial message about what the new wealth is, the new rich. The freedom to do what you want and to go where you want and to not be anchored down because of a job. And just keep thinking about that.
Is that I feel like the message of the book is like you can start your own business, and if you like hire the right people, you can get away with not doing that much work, but you still get a lot of the profit. But I feel like the parallel message that you're mentioning is like this idea of one can sort of live how they want and find little ways like to make ends meet, and like it sounds like the stuff that you want to do, like travel and stuff like that, it doesn't really require wealth, like monetary wealth. It just requires like living within one's means and perhaps like staying in hostels, traveling cheaply, like backpacking, and maybe having some like part-time job that's online, maybe doing backpacking trips occasionally.
Yeah, the poor person's way of doing it. But this guy's like, he gives you like life hacks, ways to get things cheaply that you wouldn't be able to get normally. And ideally, I'd want to have a solid income so that I can go to nice resorts and live in luxury even though I'm remote. Where like the cost that I'm spending each month is equivalent to what I would pay in rent and food and stuff like that. And by not having those bills at home, because I'm mobile and wherever I choose to call home in Canada, I live very, very cheaply. But let's say like here, I'm paying, what am I paying? $2,400 a month in mortgage, and then $100 every 2 months for water, and $220. No, that's cheap. like $300 for gas. No. So that's every 2 months. So 100 and it fluctuates. You get the idea. Like it all adds up. The bills add up. The insurance adds up. The fucking services, everything that you need to be comfortable and static and anchored, like over $3,000. And for that money, each month traveling abroad, apparently you're able to live a luxurious life abroad, maximizing your dollar because depending on where you go, things aren't as expensive. You just need to know where to go. If you go to the tourist places, they're going to charge you what they charge back here. Right? They charge you a dollar a fucking apple back in Canada for something when you're like at a convenience place. They're going to charge that at a tourist area in Vietnam or in where's the other place? In Thailand. But if you go outside the touristy areas, and also not go into the dangerous areas, but like to go outside of that and like actually buy off the economy, your money can go a very, very, very long way. And it's knowing how to do that. So just getting away from the tourist traps.
But you're saying like the penny pinching that you've learned, or like that the book preaches, allows you to save enough money so that you can stay like at the 5-star like resorts. Because
the penny pinching is me. Okay.
Yeah.
The penny pinching is what I'm doing.
Right.
As a minimalist, trying to be super conservative. What he's saying is that there are ways for you to create multiple incomes that are automated. That's one avenue. So like being an entrepreneur. The other avenue is maximizing your current situation. Say you work a full-time job. Like if you can work remote, you don't need to come into the office anymore. Finding ways to delegate stuff downward if you are a boss, so that all you're doing is managing the top and making sure the projects are delivered. And so instead of you doing all the work, it can be delegated. It's delegated. So before you would work 40 hours a week, now you're working less than 10. And it's about working smart, not hard. So like if you are working remotely, opening your email up just once a day. Because the emails will pile up while you're not looking at them. And this whole like culture of needing to immediately respond and have conversations by email, it's stupid. And the military is notorious for it. They're very, very brutal. I mean, at the strategic level taught me to slow down. And I deal with people that work at the operational level. And I was like, listen, fucker, you don't task upward. You require something from me. I'll do a staff check. But you're the operational level. I'm the strategic level. Things move slowly up here. If you want a change to policy or doctrine, or you want like changes to next year's plan, that does not need to happen tomorrow. Right? So it's like, and when I give tasks, I give tons of time for them to do it. So I follow up in 3 weeks, and eventually I'll get all their returns. But
so what's your if you have another point, go ahead.
I was just saying, like, I don't need to. I hope my boss doesn't hear me say this. And even, you know what? Even if he does, I get all the work done, and I don't need to work 5 days a week. I don't even need to work 3 days a week. I can work 3 half days and still be bored.
Yeah,
that's 15 hours.
That's got to be true of like a lot. I think that's like almost everyone's like in that situation. I feel like people that do work 5 days are just kind of overworking themselves, like working harder than they need to, and not and there's like a diminishing return after a certain point. Like people could slow down a lot and get the same amount of like forward progress for the economy or whatever.
Yeah, I find that we make things unnecessarily complicated and difficult. Like step after step after step after step just to do a simple transaction. It's
I
like
wonder if some of that, like some of the when you mention like added complexity in the workplace, I almost think about like the added complexity of like the vacation life, where like people try to convince us that in order to have like a good vacation, we have to go to like a 5-star resort, which is like, and there's a certain price point and there's a certain like list of amenities that they say like you try to convince us like you won't be able to relax without these amenities, and these amenities cost a lot, and so you have to like this. So then they make us buy into this, like we have to go work really hard and make a bunch of money to go to afford to be able to take time off. And but then in the same way we're talking about like cutting down the amount of like time we're putting into work, I feel like we can do the same thing to the vacation life, where like we can define like the minimum that we need to relax, which is probably not that much, like very bare amenities, just being in nature, for example, like hiking can be free and very like you can get all the relaxation benefits, but there's no like 5-star price tag to just like hiking on public trails like in the Himalayas or whatever. Like there's a, you can be smart about buying a cheap flight to like get over there, and then and sort of like you can achieve like the stunning views, like the self-actualization, but there's no like no, you don't have to pay anyone to do it. And but then that then in turn means that like what do we have all this money for? Like why are people telling us to earn all this money and save all this money if the vacation price tag is actually quite low in terms of what the minimum needed to achieve like just a therapeutic like sort of vacation experience? And I feel a bit like, I wonder, like I don't know much about the 4-hour week book, but I wonder if it kind of is also leaning on the side of like make like more money and then spend it on these luxury things, when like it like the message could easily be like, you know, it could start by like like figuring out some minimum value that one needs to like financially achieve to be able to meet like a standard quality, like a good quality of life, and then outlining like what needs to be automated job wise to get there, rather than it seems like it's saying a little bit like one should have like 5 jobs and automate all 5 jobs and make like a ton of money a month, and it almost is not, it's not really defining like an upper limit to what one might like feasibly need. But I wonder, like, what are your thoughts about, like, do you have thoughts about like what do you think is like the minimum amount of money that you would need to like be able to travel and live and feel like you're sort of free?
minimum amount. I don't know what the minimum amount is. I mean, it depends on your area. In BC, I would say 80,000, like Vancouver Island, if you own a place already. And
Yeah, I
so
think
it's like you mentioned messaging though, and this guy is not about earning the maximum amount of money in order to have the coolest gadgets. It's about living life to its fullest by not being stuck in the traditional work to save to retire thing that we have created, the model that we have created. It's like it basically is just sucks. And before, it may have been guaranteed that you would have a good retirement if you did this, but with the way the markets are and the way things are nowadays, it's not guaranteed. And
yeah, that's
just working to put everything that you earn away to save for a rainy day, and not enjoying life and being stuck to the grindstone 5 days a week. You're basically just living on weekends. You got 2 days a week times 52 weeks. That's if you don't have other responsibilities that you have to do. And that's not a way to live. What he's saying is you free yourself from that anchor, from that job, that full-time job that keeps you stuck, prevents you from doing what you want to do, and you go and do stuff. You go have mini retirements. You get away. The military has been very bad in that it's super hard to get out. You try to release, it takes 6 months. Freaking crazy, man. And they say they're saying that they're trying to make it easier, but because retention is an issue, I think that they have other interests. I don't think the military really gives a shit about the people at all.
Yeah, it took me like a couple of years to quit, basically.
Yeah, I'm trying to medically release, and it's been just an ongoing process, super slow. But being able to like transition out and to go and do what you want to do, take a break, go on a voyage, sail around like for 18 months and like recover your assets. So recover your investment when you're done. You spend $18,000 on a sailboat, bunch of food and stuff. You go for a trip and you sell it for more, depending on where you sell it. It's like being able to create a plan, execute it to have the enjoyment you want, and still come out ahead. And that requires knowledge and planning and skills. This guy is saying, replace the current model with experiences. Enjoy life. What he's not saying is, quit your job, retire early, and have nothing to do. Because that's worse. So you got to fill your life up with stuff to do because it's all about the experiences. And you can't do that if you're anchored down, if you're trapped. And I've been feeling trapped for a very long time. And I'm sure so many other people are.
Or they don't even, like everyone is trapped, but many might not even feel it because they don't realize it or something.
Oh, I'll tell you, they do realize it. You know why? Because of the pandemic. The pandemic opened everybody's eyes. Everybody who got to work from home.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's true.
They came to realize that they realized that the old model sucks and is irrelevant. And that's why there's such a stink, because the government's trying to bring back the public servants, and they're like, no fucking way. I don't need to be here 3 times a week. There's no value. Why? Why do I need to come in 3 times a week to sit in a cubicle when I could be at home in my office? I just spent a shit ton of money upgrading my place to have an office because, people have done that, right? They've upgraded their places to have more room, more space because out of necessity. The pandemic changed things permanently. It has awakened people. And this book was written before the pandemic. And I'm kind of disappointed because now people realize what they're missing, and that's changing things. I don't know how relevant the full book is now, but I can still benefit fully reading it now as I would have if I read it 10 years ago when it was initially written. So I will see, and that's going to be part of my analysis. When I do book reports now. Like I take key parts and I write about them, and I like what my thoughts are and stuff, and I look at the terms that are applicable to that book, and I capture it in a Word document. And I'm going to look, and the discussion I'm going to have is, or what I'm going to write about is this book relevant? And if it's relevant, what has changed because of the pandemic? So I am curious to see that. I want to see if the lessons from the book are still truly relevant. Already the idea.
Yeah, I'll be interested to hear your thoughts, like once you've compiled all that.
Yeah. The idea of the book is amazing. what the new rich is. It is not having $1 million. It's living the lifestyle of somebody who has $1 million. And what that is freedom to do what you want. And you can still have that freedom while having a job. It's
One
just
question.
mhm.
One thing that I'm interested to know is if, like, I would like to have like a definition on like what is, in the author's opinion, like what is his opinion on what it means to live like a full life, and then because I sort of think that like there's a lot of people that have $1 million that would say they're not feeling fulfilled in life, and so then there's like a, like, not only is one have to do the first part, like get to this point where they acknowledge like they need to live a life that is more fulfilling, but then there's like some more information which is like what experiences are important, what does it mean, like what gives people a sense of fulfillment, and then everybody has to do their own like analysis on themselves to figure out like what does it mean to them, like what experiences do they want,
Mhm.
and so that's something that I'm fascinated in, because that for me it's like, for me I feel like a little bit like I have a lot of extra time, and I like to sort of, I want to feel more like satisfaction in life, but that's a part that I'm struggling with is, let's assume I can do whatever I want, then basically what should I do? And sometimes I sort of brainstorm through like what can I modify to get closer to being fulfilled.
Well, Richard, what are your dreams?
These
And
days
when you're
it centers around art basically. But yeah, it's a good
yeah,
place to start. That's a good point.
yeah, and mine is being around or in nature all the time and learning how to fend for myself and cutting logs for the fire and learning how to process the meat that I've hunted. But at the same time, like having these tasks to do, but also having comfortable space to call my own. Not a shack, but like a modern, comfortable home that I can afford. And having my motorcycle and being able to go on journeys and joining in different communities, rock climbing and dancing, whether it be tango or whatever. Like, I want to go out and do stuff and join. Honestly, I want to be connected to others. I want to feel like I belong somewhere. And like, I joined this event called the Sideburn,
Right.
and
Yeah.
it's about a bunch of artistic individuals, expressive. It's a place where people can come together and express themselves. Truly, there's a lot of nudity. There's psychedelics. I'm signing up to be part of the sanctuary team, to be a part of people and their experience going through a psychedelic trip. I had one, and fuck, buddy, it's life changing, and I want to be there for people going through it, especially if it's their first time. Because I think I mean, I did it alone because I didn't really know what to expect, but to share that experience with other people would be incredible. But I would be in a role of, making sure people aren't dying kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to join this community and check it out. And I want to be able to do that. I want to be able to go to these things when I want, wherever they are, without having to report into the office 7 to 5 every day. That's a bit more than what I actually do. I do a lot less than that, but you know what I mean. Like having to be stuck in a city,
Yeah,
paying a
basically, like,
mortgage.
like having a need to come back to a city at least once a week is very limiting.
Right.
Just as a minimum, yeah.
And I don't even want to be here. I want to be in nature. There's no friggin' land here for me that I can afford to do that. Right. Like it's
Yeah.
so. Having it's important to know what your dreams are first of all, and then shape your plan towards that. And with your job, if you don't have to go in and you could just work remotely, then there you go. Don't live in that city. Move wherever you want to move. I don't know why any computer work requires you to have to report in somewhere. I mean,
Right.
if you're creating code, for instance.
Yeah, the
Or
only reason I can see is like it is like the being part of a community, like seeing whatever other workers, because a lot of people on my team are fully remote, but some of the workers are in office, and like it feels a sense of belonging and companionship to like be around them, or like camaraderie to see them
yeah,
physically.
fuck
But
that. That's
yeah, it's like
work.
maybe yeah, because it's sort of like a like yeah, the friends you make at work are kind of like always like work friends, and so it is. That's what I would like to do more of, is find my community like outside work, and then and then basically I'll just work remotely and get the my needs met by like some other like non-work community of people.
Running marathons, triathlons, like that's your thing. That's a community. You can go off and do that, and you can have the flexibility to do that wherever you want. I don't know if you are still running ultra marathons, but I mean, like that.
Yeah,
I
these
thought
days
was
I want to do game dev these days. I want to be part of like I want to like meet up with people and make like independent video games. And I'm always searching out those communities. I was part of like one online for a while,
so
but
fuck
I want to
going
be
into
like an in
work.
person.
Yeah, screw going into work, hanging out with these people because it's just a job. Meet the people that you can actually connect with, that you can have a good time connecting with. Get away from your situation. If you can work remotely, you don't need to live in that overpriced shithole. You can move
Yeah,
elsewhere, right? Like that's the freedom I'm talking about. It's breaking away from the model, the mold that has been created. Being anchored to somewhere. Like you're you're paying a tremendous amount of money to live in that area. And I don't know if that's conducive for the lifestyle that you actually want. I mean, it wouldn't be for me. Absolutely not.
yeah. At maximum, like a year. Like basically, uh, at next August is when my lease expires, and that's basically the max amount of time that I'd want to live like at this price point. But then, yeah, I'll shift to like a cheaper apartment, and then but then even then I might spend like 1 or 2 years max like in San Francisco in that cheaper apartment before just basically going like trying to go fully remote and maybe look checking out a different city.
Why? Why wait years when you can do it now? I don't
It's
know what
got
the
to be
cost
yeah,
is.
the crazy thing is like leases basically. If you have to sign a year lease all the time. So that's like a
How much to
huge like
break it? And like
well
if you
yeah. Technically in
yeah,
California there's no break fee, but what all that means is that you just have to keep paying the actual lease until they find another renter, which is like kind of scary.
well, it might be a pristine area or sought off. I don't know. It might be like a high demand area, and they might find somebody immediately and be able to charge more because things have. It might be a good option. It might be something to actually look at.
But yeah, for me, it's I like to try to set time limits on things because I hate to think that I would trick myself into like staying, in a job and in a place forever.
You just did
But
that. You just tricked yourself to stay for another fucking 2 years.
yeah, but I mean that's what I mean. It's like I'm basically like what I should do is like I should start my own like independent game studio and then move wherever I want to live. But that's like way too much risk for like my mind. So I have to
Why not?
do yeah,
But why not
just
work
the way I am.
remotely?
Yeah.
Why not work remotely in a place you want to live, and then when you have free time, try to develop your own studio? Anyway,
Yeah, and
I'm
yeah.
not telling you what to do.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is that we don't need to stick to the way
Yeah,
things have
definitely.
been.
Yeah. We need to put more pressure like on ourselves to like uh go like go against this like system that we know is not correct
Because
and
all
not
your
really
money
like
is being
yeah.
sapped away by the high cost of living because of the area. But you're not getting the enjoyment out of it. Your money is not being put to value, or it's not being put into the experiences that bring you value. I mean to say. So
Yeah, and like technically like San Francisco is like that's where all the independent game devs should be, but they all moved because of the pandemic to a cheaper place. So now like the one benefit of paying the high price and being here, which was like you get to meet all the people, like the pandemic like you're saying like changed that. All those people like moved away and now live remotely, so you don't you can only really see them online anyway. So then there's
Richard,
no, yeah,
they've already taken the lessons from the book. It's like they all have read the fucking
yeah,
book and they've all
yeah.
pieced. I think it's time that you do it too. You
Everyone
might
did
be
some
able to,
reading.
yeah. Like I think they just like, why am I here? Fuck it, downsize, get out. But
Yeah,
you nailed it.
a lot of the reason I feel lucky to like move to San Francisco was to like see for myself that there's no like magic. Like if I had never lived here, I would have thought like maybe I always would have thought like maybe I should have moved to San Francisco and maybe I would have met people and like that would have changed things. But having lived here, I can see like nothing magical, like happens from just being here and paying the high rent. Uh, Nothing that couldn't happen elsewhere, like remotely. Like
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Well, don't stay for another 2 years. Not if you don't have to. Um,
So you wanted to wrap up a bit early this time.
yeah, I know where I'm over the time I said I would be, and I'm starting to fade. So, it was a good chat, man. I like these chats. Um, maybe think about what I talked about. If you have any dreams that you want to work towards, and if you are going to take action, I mean, I'd love to hear what your plan is for next time. And if there is no
Yeah.
plan and you're going to stay, then that's your choice. But that's
Yeah, whatever I do, I'm trying to make it in service of like game development. Essentially, I think game development is my passion. But
yeah.
not I don't want to work in game development. Just I want to find some way to allocate more time and resources to making my own games.
Here's
But
the
yeah,
final thought that I
yeah,
had. Time. It's a finite resource,
yeah, for sure. Yeah, you can't buy
and
more or anything. Yeah,
no, and so like you were saying, 2 years cheaper apartment. That's 2 years, man. That's a long time. I've been out of Victoria for 10 years because I have allowed the military to direct me the way it has, because I've been following the model, the mold. I need to figure out a proper term for this, but um, I mean, that's 10 years. Those are the best years of my life. I was young, full of energy, and I'm just getting older and older and older and older. And so, yeah, time is a finite resource, but as we get older, things there are more challenges, and we don't know how much time we actually have. We may think we have 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, and we may not. So,
yeah,
always banking on something that we may not have and not actually enjoying the here and the now. I think it's the same mistake as saving everything you have until retirement and not actually enjoying life while you have it. So I'm
yeah,
my mind is changed. It's made up. There is fear that comes. My subconscious wants to keep me comfortable and safe, and I just like, fucking pull the medical release. Absolutely not. I need to I need to move on. I need to get the anchor out of the soil so that
yeah.
I can be free. Yeah,
Yeah,
man. So
it's exciting to like be with you, I guess, on this journey to enlightenment. It
I
feels
am
like
a man of action, but I'm not fucking stupid. I'm not going to, you know, cast myself off without a sail
yeah,
or an oar. I'm making sure that I have the pension in place and the financial means to do what I need to do. So if that's a year of waiting, that's a year of waiting. But I won't just break off and fuck
yeah.
myself.
That's a good.
Tempted
Yeah,
to.
it's good to have that patient. Good to have that patience and like forethought.
Exactly. And there's some opportunities that can happen because I'm holding on for another year. I can get my jaw surgery, which would cost thousands of dollars in the real world. And the military will pay for it, a corrective jaw surgery. It will take a year before I get it done, but because of like paperwork and red tape and stuff. But I get that going and I throw braces on and then my jaw's corrected for free. I mean, it's an opportunity. There are some gains that I can make by holding out this last year. And, Veterans Affairs Canada, making sure that the claims are submitted correctly with the support of the medical system. That shit takes time. So,
Yeah,
I'm just you can't rush it too much. But this year that I am waiting, there are benefits to it. So once it's done, though, buddy, I'm not looking back. I'll tell you that. All right, so let's talk again next week.
Yeah, I'll see you then.
Okay, bye, man.